Hello everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have a very special painting process video to share with you today. So please sit back and relax, and I hope you enjoy seeing the full process of how I created Wishing for Eternity. So if you've been watching my videos in any sort of chronological order, then you will know that this painting came on the heels of my first solo show, followed by a miniature show, and then lastly followed by a commission. So it's safe to say that after all of that, I needed a little bit of a break to recharge. And after that time of mental relaxation, I was excited to create this piece just for me. In the months before this piece, my creativity felt pulled in so many different directions, so I was really excited to finally sit down and create something that really spoke to me. So, after finalizing my reference image in Photoshop and getting a detailed sketch onto my panel, I was ready and excited to start this piece. And as you can see, I started with the beautiful and dynamic cloud cover that really sets the mood for this painting, followed by the rest of the background landscape, slowly piecing it together section by section. One of my favorite parts of the landscape reference photo was the mist, so I really tried to do it justice with my paints, blending and softening to recreate the transparent look. And while painting the mist, I was starting to learn that many of the landscape components that were slightly obstructed by the mist were basically silhouetted by it, as you can see in the section on the far right. And realizing this definitely helped my process and made me feel less intimidated. And while I'm thinking about it, I want to briefly apologize for not filming my work on the detailed cliff edge in the right-hand corner. I think that I got so wrapped up in the process that I forgot to film that section completely. But essentially, that cliff face required several different layers in order to obtain that texture and depth. And while I was working on the blanket that's draping from the figure's leg, I was paying a lot of attention to my photo reference, because while editing in Photoshop, I made sure to shift and slightly manipulate this blanket so that it really looked like it was flowing over the cliff, as if the rocks and trees were under it and creating specific folds and shadows. And overall, probably the most important aspect of this piece for me was the lighting and making sure it felt realistic, so that the unrealistic subject matter felt alive and magical. So, with every section that I was working on, I was thinking about how it would be affected by this single strong light source. And if I were to give myself one piece of advice on this piece while looking back on the painting process, I would tell myself to find more opportunities to incorporate some purples and other variations of warm colors, just to subtly offset all of the cool colors throughout this piece. So, while I put the final brushstrokes on this piece, I would love to tell you the meaning behind it. For this painting, I wanted to use my Terra Human imagery to illustrate a sort of complex feeling that I was having in the time period while I was making it. And this feeling was wanting to stay inside a moment forever. The push and pull of wanting to fully appreciate a beautiful and perfect moment, while also knowing that it will inevitably end. How do we as people live within this dichotomy of searching for something and then finally finding it and wanting to live in it and appreciate it forever, but knowing that the one constant in our lives is that things will always change and life will always move forward? I spent a lot of time thinking about this feeling while making the piece, and I hope that it comes across through my brushstrokes. And at the time of recording this video, this original painting is still available for purchase through my website. It is 18 by 24 inches and has a beautiful frame from my local art store. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and possibly learned a few things about my process. I really love creating original works like this, and these videos are a great opportunity for me to share some of my insights and hopefully help a few fellow artists. So if you want to see more of my work, please visit abengallery.com for gallery paintings, and all of my other work will be at austinhowlett.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.